This short demo introduces two important features of TRMT for SOA that are interesting from an IT operations perspective. First, by querying TRMT's dependency and compatibility registry, the tool can tell whether, during a release rollout, any other dependent releases have to be installed. This way, TRMT makes it possible to avoid situations where an application would be installed into an incompatible environment, that is, in which the required releases of the necessary services that the application builds upon were not available. The other focus of this demonstration is TRMT's support for scripted build and deployment of the managed applications. The scripted build and deployment process is logged into the tool's database and provides for a high control over the release rollout process. Together, these abilities provide the IT operations of an organization indispensable support for achieving ETL's goals and requirements for release rollout. In the demo scenario, the release 1.1.2 of an internet bank front end is ready and has passed all tests required to deploy it to production. As part of the release management process, the WebSphere administrator, WebAdmin, receives a notification that release 1.1.2 of internet bank has to be rolled out to production. First, he checks what dependencies the internet bank application's 1.1.2 release has. These dependencies have been discovered by TRMT by parsing the source codes of the internet bank application. It is a characteristic of the SOA environment that a large number of dependencies are established between applications, processes, and services. In such an environment, it becomes increasingly difficult to keep track of these dependencies as the number of applications, services, and their releases increase. Therefore, it is indispensable to use tool support for this task. In this example, Internet Bank application has one dependent service called account list, on which it calls two services. In this example, the services are called via EJB call, but TRMT can also recognize calls to web services from Java sources and from BPAL processes. Then the administrator can check what releases of the dependent account list service are compatible with Internet Bank 1.1.2. In this query, the administrator can also select a destination environment to query for any required releases of these dependent projects that also need to be installed. In this scenario, we can see that in order for Internet Bank application to work in the TRMT production environment, any of the following releases have to be also installed. We see that release 1.1.5 of account list is satisfactory for the Internet Bank application, and the other listed releases are backward compatible with this one. Why the dependency to the account list service was discovered automatically by TRMT for SOA, the conditions that determine exactly which release is compatible with Internet Bank have been specified during the development of Internet Bank by pointing out demands that were raised against the account list service and that must be satisfied by account list to be compatible with Internet Bank. As was mentioned in the beginning of this demo, TRMT supports scripted build and deployment of the releases. This means that build scripts can be part of the release itself and can be run by TRMT to build the release. In this screen, the application and the release are selected, and also a build server is chosen. The build server can be the server running TRMT for SOA, or it can also be a remote server accessible through SSH. It can be any flavor of Unix, Linux, or even Windows. When the release is selected, TRMT lists all the build scripts that are contained in the release and makes it possible to start the build process by running the build script. The build process is started asynchronously, and the result can be queried later. The logs produced by the script are saved to the TRMT database and can be queried on a query screen. Now we can see that the build process has been executed successfully, and we can check the log which was produced during this operation. We see that the build was successful. The results of the build process, that is the binaries, are saved to the TRMT binary archive, which is similar to a Maven repository and can serve as the definitive software library for the organization. TRMT also supports automating the deployment process. The deploy scripts are also part of the release and can refer to the binaries that were produced during the automated build. The scripts can refer to environment-specific variables that can be configured on the TRMT user interface. For example, host names, ports, directories, and so on. This way, the scripts themselves can be environment independent, and so the same script can be used to roll out the release to production that was used and tested in the test environment. The deploys are also started asynchronously, and their result can be queried later in a query screen. In this screen, I have selected which release of the Internet Bank application has to be deployed, and I also select the target environment. In this screen, I can also download the binary which was produced in the previous build phase. However, this is not required when we use the scripted build, scripted deployment process. I select the script, the deploy script to run, and tell TRMT to run the script. I get a confirmation window where I have to confirm that yes, I would like to deploy to a production environment. As we have seen in the above short demo, TRMT can greatly enhance the control over the release rollout process and make possible a less error-prone, more controlled and highly automated rollout, even in a complex SOA environment with a large number of dependencies.